Ready when you are. Let's take it from the exact beginning, like the very beginning. We're starting from point zero.
Yep.
How did y'all feel when starting to create this album?
So the first song we did for Ready When You Are was Elevator. The song that we were sure that it's gonna make the album. But the process started a year earlier, before the pandemic.
One of the moments that I really remember is me approaching you guys and telling you guys, yo, this has to be our Thriller.
Yep.
That's where the mindset was at. Like every single song had to hit at that level.
I think we were just trying to surpass like whatever we did prior. Just trying to make people acknowledge that like we got a sound of our own and just prevail.
It was like we were doing good so far with the creation of the album, but once we made Quiet on the Set, that's what made me realize that we could reach a whole nother level, a whole nother plateau. And from that point on, I was like, okay, anything we do has to be that or higher.
Yeah.
And so everything prior to Quiet on the Set, I was like,
it was getting cut.
Get up out of here, man. That ain't good enough.
Everything between Elevator and Quiet on the Set were like, made a bunch of stuff between those two songs.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything between that, it's
You know
still
what,
unreleased.
like,
and
at one moment that I realized that like, yo, shit, we need to go back to the drawing board. When we went to Monty's house.
Man!
When we went to Monty's house, I was like, damn.
Listen,
left that house, I was
he
like,
played
yo,
the
what
Smino
the
album
fuck?
before he...
That's what
he
people
played us
don't
the
know.
Smino album, and I was like, yo, what the fuck we doing? Like,
Facts.
we ain't doing enough.
Facts. And you know what's crazy? He played the Love for Rent album, right?
And then he played another different album. And I was like, yo, fuck is we doing?
We
Like,
need to step in.
And we played Monty Quiet on the Set. He was like, yeah, y'all hard. Like, y'all keep going. And at that time, I was like, man, that ain't shit. Man, that song is trash.
yeah. Nah, but at that point, I was like, yo, whatever we do with that album, it gotta be like...
Next level.
It gotta be next level, because
Facts.
their shit was sounding next level. So I was like,
Facts. Facts. You know, one thing I noticed is, like, when creating albums, how it transitions, how it's so smooth, you know? And I know Dovi are really big on, like, transitions and why, like, the intro goes into Quiet on the Set, or why Northern Playalistic goes into Elevators. So what do you hear, like, when creating these songs? Because you always, like, man, it has to transition, like...
I think I just like arrangement. Like, I think part of being a producer, you gotta know how to leave stuff out or lead towards something else. Like, arrangement is the funnest part of, like, doing production. Like, just knowing that you can slowly, gradually take it somewhere else. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just like, it's so interesting, but yeah.
And
I
it's
love doing
interesting. It's interesting how people actually notice these things, and they're like, "Yo, how this transitions into that?" I'm like, "Huh?
Yeah.
Y'all really caught that?"
I think it's important. Like, if you want to do an album and just add like substance, add like depth to the album.
I feel like nowadays albums just sound like 100 tracks recorded and they
with
pick
no
out
like
12 best songs, but when you make transition throughout the whole album, it sounds like we made these songs like back to back.
Yeah.
It creates like a chemistry between them, like a relationship between songs.
Yeah, and even the skits too. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
the skits
are
is like,
important.
yeah.
You know, when creating this album, it's funny because even for the last album, I think the intro was one of like the later songs, right?
Yeah.
I personally kind of had an idea, like we made this one song that was like super hard with like African drums. I was like, that's the intro right there. But then we were in the studio and we made something completely different, like Michael Jackson-esque. And I remember Doom being like, nah, that's the intro right there.
Yeah.
So my question to y'all is, what makes a good album opener? What makes a good intro track?
I feel like when it's something that goes straight to like what you should expect of the album, but not the same as the whole album. Like, I don't like albums sometimes that like have an intro with a whole story and everything. I like when it gets straight to it, and then the story starts to like adding itself to the album with the skits and everything.
A song that takes you somewhere. Like, that takes you exactly where the album's supposed to be. So
we couldn't have started this album a better way.
Nah.
It sets the tone. It puts you on 10 already. Like, these guys ain't playing. I remember we sent the song to Flower Child and his homeboy Grim. Shout out to the Atlanta R&B scene, by the way. That shit's
Shout out to Flower
But we
Child,
sent
man.
it to him, and I remember he came back like, yo, y'all want some Michael Jackson shit. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew. I was like, all right, this is something serious right here.
Yeah, man. Shout out to GMF too, man.
Yeah, JMF came through with the keys.
Came
man.
through.
Came through.
People don't be doing what key changes in the intro takes you somewhere completely different. A intro for the intro.
Yeah.
You know that introduction sound or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that intro song so much.
Yeah.
And we were talking about sequencing the transition to
With Quiet on the Set.
Set.
Yeah. The first 2 tracks are really like
Flawless.
Gets you in the mood, yep.
non-stop, just get straight to it.
All right, so let's talk about Quiet on the Set. I feel like that's one of our songs that is the most different, and I think it shows like our versatility, but our sound in the best way.
Yeah.
And so I just want to talk about the process of that. I know, Rami, you're the one that brought the idea to us. So what was going on?
I remember we did the first draft in September 2022. And a week prior, I went to this cabin in Charlevoix with my girlfriend for 4 days. And I came back, and for some reason, I was super inspired. I made like a bunch of beats, and that was one of them. And I was trying to recreate like a 90s UK garage beat, but with a much slower BPM. So I was just messing around with like simple keys. And the beat was called Futura.
Yeah,
So that's where my mind was at when I made this one.
I remember.
And I sent it to you guys.
And I see this file, it says Futura
119,
119 BPM.
Yep.
And I click on it and I open it and I hear these keys, boom, 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 boom. And all of a sudden, like in my mind, I was like, this is so different.
Yeah.
Laid down the hook and the verse.
And the verse, yeah.
It was like 2, 3 in the morning at the crib. I laid all of it down, harmonies, whatever. I didn't do the bridge yet. Laid that down and I was so hyped. I'm like, oh, let me send it to the guys. And I was waiting for an immediate response without thinking that it was 3 a.m. in the morning. Y'all are sleeping. I was like, damn, man, what they think about this? Man, come on, I need
Yeah, I
feedback.
remember.
You had a song inspiration for the verse too, like the flow.
For the verse, I was thinking of do the conga. You know, sometimes do that conga, do that conga. You just need someone to listen, pour a little something, to feel something, fill my cup, she's cold, then we be some sisters. And I was like, yo, this fits so perfectly. I was like, oh, it works.
My reaction in the group chat was like, what the fuck? That's literally what I said. I said, what the fuck? I think it's the only song where like we made it, I was like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, man. Take us through the process of remaking the drums and adding that bass.
808, like, yeah.
I was literally
What?
just thinking of Tyler, the Creator, when I did that. It was the only reference I had in mind. I was like, I think if Tyler was to do the bass,
drum,
that's what he would have did. But
And you did the hook after with Roby. I don't think we heard the hook before. You didn't do a draft for not the hook, my bad, the bridge.
The bridge,
The bridge,
yeah. I was listening to the bridge. I was like, how it starts is so good. I need to continue with that, same greatness. You understand? And what I heard for that bridge was Anita Baker. Ooh.
Angel.
Angel. And I tried it on the harmonies, and if you listen really close, it's in there.
Yeah.
And it fits so
Hey
smoothly.
man, don't be saying that because we gonna get sued and shit like that. I ain't trying to get sued.
Did I say? I didn't say. You know what? Cut that out.
Nah,
I
it
didn't
was
say
not
Anita.
Anita Baker.
It was
It
not
was-
Anita. It was Anthony. Anthony Baker.
Anthony Faker.
Anthony Faker.
Yeah.
But that bridge, and a lot of people are like, "Yo, that's one of the best bridges this year," because
Yeah, man.
It's like
I think
you
it's one of the best
levitate.
albums this year. If you like, no
Facts.
bias, like
Facts.
really not no bias, but I think
Facts.
it's one of the best work.
Yep.
It's quality.
Yeah, it's
quality
quality-
music. It makes
Quality
you feel.
music, Yeah.
That bridge is something different. On Added Sugar, song 3 was Break From Normal featuring Mick Jenkins. Ready When You Are. Song 3, Think of Me, featuring Mick Jenkins. I want to know you guys' thoughts when collaborating with an artist like Mick.
With Mick, I feel like it's always straight to the point.
Yeah, straight to the point. He takes like maybe 3 minutes to write his verse.
Sometimes not even. Break From Normal was like,
Real
wrote
quick.
that in 15 minutes.
Real quick.
Yeah. It's always good to have session with Mick because he's a great MC, so yeah.
A reason why it works so well is because our sound isn't typically what he would rap on.
Exactly, but he's versatile, so.
He is versatile, but it's like we bring him into our world. And for mainly a lot of artists, all the artists we work with, we bring them into our world. And for some reason with Mick, it just really like works very well.
Yeah.
I see a song hook first.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, what is gonna keep them interested? What is something they're gonna wanna play over and over again? As where Mick, I believe he just goes straight verse mode, straight raps. When working with artists, it's a very delicate balance of letting them do their thing and their specialty, but also having a direction and knowing where to go with it.
Yeah. We control like like the destination of it, but we let them do whatever they want, like their style. Like GMF, we just say like, yo, can you do just, can you re-hum like a melody and
he'll play that
and he'll
shit
just
perfectly.
play it like, so yeah. We let him do what he wants, but like.
Because we have a specific vision for the.
Yeah, and
for
also we're 3, so we do have that special something that like, if somebody was to come work with us, they know that like we're about to do something out of what they're used
ordinary.
to.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
So I think that's why like we the ones that might lead. The only session that I think we didn't lead at all, it's with Monty, because it's just like a fucking.
Nah, Monty's
this
an
guy
alien.
is just, yeah,
Monty's an alien.
He's just like going places you can't even follow him. Like,
Remember we was in Monty and he wanted me to sing like a note that like didn't exist, and I was like, I've never sang that note in my life. Where are we going? And I couldn't even picture where we were going and shit. That was so funny.
I think it's important to work with people that like think that way.
Facts.
Like he's just like, yo, let's try anything. He even asked me to sing. I'm like, I've never sing in my life.
And you were whistling and we made a bunch of beats, man.
He was just like, yo, just sing that shit. I'm like, I can't sing. We don't care. It's like, I'm gonna need some auto-tune. Fuck the auto-tune. I'm like, the fuck, man? Yo, help me out.
Just follow the key, man. Just follow the key.
We're like, what's going on? That was one of my favorite sessions. We spent the whole day at Monty's crib. And that boy barely ate. He was just on
just
it
like,
the whole day.
Nigga looked like he off of pills. It was
Shout
a
out
cool
Monty, man.
Yeah.
I think for sometimes the main melody, I remember we worked on that a long time ago, and I made a whole different beat and song to that melody.
Yeah.
How did it resurface? Who brought it back?
You.
I think you brought it back the
When
day
we was working with K,
Yeah,
right?
when was it with Keitra at the studio?
We weren't thinking about making a song like that. I remember when we first did the melody, and we recorded. Doom added a bunch of stuff too, like sequenced it and everything, and it just stayed in his computer for probably a whole year, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like we didn't do nothing with that song at all.
Maybe even 2 years, because
That was 2020, actually.
yeah, that was in 2020. So yeah, and we out of that sun to be a feature on the song. And I think it came out pretty well.
Big listen, I want to take this time to send a major shout out to Sun.
Yeah.
Such an incredible talent. Y'all go look her up because that voice. And I was recently in a session with her, and I told her like it's like we speak the same language when it comes to like harmonies and stuff.
Yeah.
We don't even have to talk much. It just shows and it reflects in the music.
Yeah.
So major shout out to Son.
Yeah. Only Montreal feature on the album too.
Yeah.
Facts. Facts.
We have such a good time when we're together.
You know what? I don't care.
Cause why is he taking so long to answer my text? Why the fuck is he doing this to me? I fucking hate niggas like this. Oh shit, he's calling me right now.
Although you could talk about same topic, there's multiple ranges and ways to talk about that specific topic.
Yeah.
And one of my things is I never want to make the same song twice where I talk about the same thing. So if I am talking about approaching a woman, it might be approaching a woman when I'm young, or it might be approaching a woman not knowing how to, or approaching a woman knowing how to. So there's always different ways to attack a topic. And for Ships in Love, I really wanted to explain my relationship with women and how it molded me since I was young to how I am right now. So you can have a clear picture of why I'm acting a certain way or why I'm so confident. And I think Ships in Love was the perfect beat for that because it's jazzy and it has this strong ass kick and this light ass rim shot snare. What made you think of putting these drums on that?
It's not even about the drum. It's just like the sample, like the saxophone. Like it's so classy. It's like it feels like you just had a jazz club, like smoking a cigar or some shit, like drinking whiskey. Like I don't know. It's just like the warmth to the track, like and the topic as well. It's like it's so comforting. Like I don't know, like the right word for it. Like, comforting. Yeah. My bad, man. My English is not there.
Francophones, man. Come on.
Yeah. It's just like
That's the one song where writing-wise, I was like, every single word down to every single syllable has to be flawless. I remember locking myself in the studio for hours trying to get the verses down pat. What am I trying to say? What am I trying to do? And when I came up with we thinking because I'm damaged that my blessings is gone. If stone said it, then it's set in stone. When I said that, I already knew something sparked in my mind. I said, I did it this time. And that's one of my dad's favorite lines. He's like, yo, Stone said it.
I think it's the song, like when we played it like to the people around us, there was not one negative feedback.
Facts.
Everybody was like, yeah, this one is like a serious one. Yeah.
Facts. People would hit me up like, yo, this right here, what you did on this right there.
Yeah.
And one of the
3
things,
verses too.
3 verses. People don't do that as much anymore. At the end, there's a transition. There's this like drumless sample that you added. What made you out? Because I remember we were recording it and I didn't even think about adding that.
What made me want to add that? I feel like we used to do that on like a bunch of songs. When we did Added Sugar, we did it on Charge It, added an outro.
Yeah.
And making this album, there was no songs with that. And I feel like it's kind of like our signature.
Right.
So I was just going through my chop sample and I remember you were recording it and I remember I just played it like randomly and it just
made sense.
Yeah. So I was like, yo, let's just add that and it fits perfectly when you literally finish the hook.
Yeah.
And it goes well with the next song, Northern Playalistic. So
for this song specifically, writing those verses, it felt like it was like my therapy. And I was excited to write this and have it come out of my system. It's like I'm releasing.
Yeah.
And so it felt good to write those verses and putting it out. I was like, it's honest and people are gonna get to know me more and it's more insightful. So no, I wasn't nervous as opposed to like a Limb where I actually was nervous to put that song on because to me, it felt even more vulnerable because we're not talking about relationships with someone. We're talking about relationship with myself and insecurities and trying to fight these things. So Ships in Love, to me, was like, it has to come out. There was no hesitation, no doubt, no nothing. I wanted people to know that side of me. All of the segments are 100% factual, all true. I'm giving out like places. My mom was like, yeah, she remembers that time where she took that paper and she ripped it up. And my dad, he remembers it too. And my dad's happy because every time I rap before, I used to always rap about my mom and be like, oh, my mom, this, don't let my mom know. And my dad was like, yo, why you ain't rapping about me? Like, you ain't got no father. Why I can't get some shine? So when he heard that, he was like, I'm trying to run back home, show it to my dad. He's like, yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah, that's how you do it.
This shit hit my golden ticket. They don't know how I'm feeling. I don't want.
Northern Playalistic is one of those songs where you clearly see the change in dynamics
in the album,
where it gets to the more like rap, more like slowed down. We're not dancing, singy anymore.
Yeah.
Why was that necessary? Why was that vital to this album?
Because you're a rapper, man.
Yeah,
You rap
just had to
songs.
showcase.
Oh my, come on, man.
I think you just have to showcase that, like,
Yeah.
you could do this rap shit too. And I think it's one of the track like where the album just started feeling cold, like.
And it's funny that we made it in LA where it was hot.
Yeah, it was hot as hell.
hell.
And shout out to Luke, man, playing these drums
Killed
in his closet. But yeah, it was. Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, the original drums are the drums on
Ships and Love.
Ships and Love, yeah.
Yep.
And we just switched it up.
Talk about recycling. Talk about not wasting nothing. Come on, man.
Everything has a purpose. We always separate like our album in like 3 parts, where like the start needs to start like really uplifting, dancey, like happy and shit. And then it gets to the middle part where it's like, okay, shit is going left. And then it goes back to like, I don't know, it's like a
movie.
Yeah, it's like a movie. It's like a high. Like, you know, when you get high, it's like and then you have the...
And then you paranoid, you start tripping.
Bad trip.
Then you have like the bad trip part, and then you have like the part where it's like, oh shit, I'm alive, I'm good.
And big shout out to FemDot
Yeah, man.
for that session. Because that's another one of those sessions where I just sat down with him, just started talking. I think the hook was already done when he walked in the session. And he just got straight to writing a bunch of pages.
Yeah.
And seeing his writing process was like, he's like overwriting. Like he had so much.
I think he's like the only guy that brought a notepad
pen.
to
And write on paper.
Yeah, really
I was
write
like,
this shit. I was like, damn.
And then he got in the booth and laid his verse down. And I remember being so inspired that I just jumped right after, ran to the booth, laid down my verse. And he was like, but you ain't even write. I was like, man, sometimes it be like that, man. Sometimes when you inspired, it just happens.
It's probably like one of my personal favorite track from the album. Northern Playalistic is the one that like I go back to the most.
Elevator is one of them ones, man. When it comes to the album, I remember Doom sending that idea in. And as soon as I heard those first keys, it's like my verse was done right away. And I remember recording the hook on my phone, cause like I can't forget. And it was just humming the melody. I was like, where were you? What were you thinking?
I was just at the crib, bro. I was just at my house looking for samples. Found that sample. I was listening to a lot of Burna Boy at the time, but yeah, we was at the studio with Elijah. And then we was like, yeah, we got this one beat. Can you add like some guitar on it? He was like, yeah, sure. So he added some guitar on the beat. After that, we had another session like a week later with JMF. He even like redid the keys, but took it somewhere else at the same time. And then he added the bridge at the end.
And you see how funny like the universe works, because as all this is going on, Koji discovers us on, you know what I'm saying, on YouTube, and he sends like a comment like, yo, you guys are fire, and then we start communicating, going back and forth. But at the same time, we discover a guy named Venom. And so we talking to him too, and we're like, okay, so we have to send him something, and eventually that makes sense. 2 birds, 1 stone, no pun intended. When we made that beat, and so I recorded the song, and I was like, okay, well, this is perfect for both of them. And so I sent it to Koji, and he sent back fire emojis like, you guys are crazy, And I was about to send it to Venna as well. And as I called Koji, he's like, oh yeah, I'm recording it at the studio with my guy Venna. I'm like, I was gonna send it to him. All right, we'll tell him to add some saxophone on it as well. And
yeah, man, Venna did his thing.
Venna lost his mind.
Yeah.
When we went to London, that's when we met him for the first time. And real solid, genuine dude telling us the spots to go eat. And so beyond just being a great musician, he's just a good, solid guy, man. And that verse, Koji's verse that's one thing about Koji. When I think my verse is flawless, he gonna match that same energy.
Yep.
Real writer. And you gotta think about, these are people from London.
Exactly. Yeah.
How does that make y'all feel? Like we're collaborating with people
that was
all
the
over
first
the world.
song for the album. Like.
Yeah.
I noticed you haven't been communicating with me as much. Is there something wrong?
Yeah. Someone take my heart. I don't want it. All it do is confuse me and give me problems. I got moves to be making, I can't be falling. My nigga do hit a nigga like, not right now.
So Keep It is, I think, the last song we created for the album, right?
A month before we had to.
So we had this body of work, and it felt like something was missing.
Yeah, we wanted to have 12 tracks, and like the tracks we had in the vault weren't really fitting. So I remember I was in the studio with Rami and GMF. It was like, yo, let's try to make something like The Clips, or just something the Neptunes would have made for like Family or some shit.
I remember y'all telling me like, yo, like we need something more toxic out of you, man. We need something more. And it's funny because
that's not what we said. We said we wanted something.
What y'all say to me?
Not toxic. We said we wanted something that's just like playful. You took it as toxic. You took it there. We did.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I swear that's what happened.
And you know what's funny? We went on Sway, and I was like, yeah, like we wanted something more toxic.
Toxic?
And Sway was like, that's toxic? That ain't even toxic. What are you talking about? Just the experience of being on Sway in itself was just confirmation that this music is potent, this music is quality, and people are finally like recognizing and starting to see that the potential being materialized.
For us, it's like, yo, you on Sway, you in the right path, like you in the right direction. I don't care what you say. Like,
absolutely.
You're in the right direction with things, and it's like, you even came and greeted us like when we was downstairs at the little cafeteria, and it was like really like a chill dude. Like it was just like, yeah, man, I'm a fan of what y'all doing, man. I've been listening to the album and shit. And I was like, damn.
That's Sway.
Yeah, that's
Sway
like,
right there, man.
Kids from Montreal going down there and just meeting Sway, and like him welcoming us to his radio is just like, yo, it's a crazy thing. So, yeah.
And also first artist from Montreal to freestyle on Sway.
Freestyle on there. You don't understand how over prepared I was for that. I was like hype. As soon as I heard the first hi-hats, I'm rapping, I'm on there. Had to represent, because that's something like, that's just childhood dreams being realized, you know?
Yeah, it's a moment I don't think I'll ever forget.
Never.
It's crazy.
What? That's something I'm showing my kids.
I swear to God.
Gather around, children. Yeah. Once again, we're listening to the Sway in the Morning freestyle before going to bed. Good night. Listen to this verse.
Can't never disrespect me after that.
Nah, beautiful, and cheers to many more moments like that.
Yeah, exactly. For sure, man. This is just the beginning.
Because if you're thinking about it, we just out here realizing like our dreams. We just chasing our dreams and making things happen. So
yep.
That's the beauty of that experience.
Fatal Attraction. How did it
Spent the
come
whole
about?
day at
Yeah,
Monty's crib.
we was with the P. Shout out to the P.
Shout out to the P.
And we just went at Monty's house. He made like the drums really quick, and he started playing the guitar. And yeah, we was just really jamming. That song was just really like a
jam session.
Yeah, just like a jam session, and there was no verse to the. It was just like a sing-along type.
Yeah, it was like a ballad, exactly. Yeah. And he was showing us like his first beats. Like we didn't know he used to make like Chicago drill beats, like.
Yeah.
And he knew the people from that movement.
Yeah.
So he was telling us like the whole history behind that, and I had no idea like he was actually like. Showed us a bunch of like Smino rapping on
drill
Chicago beats. Yeah, so.
But yeah, it was like just a fun little session, man.
Yeah.
It was like our first time going to his crib in LA. The way he approached like making beats is like from the first time I seen him when he was in Montreal. He came to the studio and he was like, he's just like a messy nigga. Like the way like he make beats is just like messy. He'll just click a bunch of shit and just until he finds like the right selection of
sound,
like I don't know, man. I can't even follow up with dude. Like
crazy.
It's just like a really interesting way of making beats, but it works, man. It works.
What You Doing is one of the beats we had told each other that we were going to LA, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was so locked in. I was like, I want to have as many ideas as possible so that when we go out there, we just play a bunch of ideas. And so What You Doing was one of those. And so when we went out there to LA and we started linking up with all these rappers, Saba was one of them who came through.
Yeah, we played that song, but for some reason, I already knew like the beat, like the What You Doing beat. Like, as soon as we played it, I knew it was gonna happen. That one.
And so I already had the hook idea for that, so it was like, that session was quick, efficient.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, let's get this out the way. And one of my favorite sessions because I really sat down with him and we was really chopping it up and really allowed me to showcase like my directive or like creative skills when he was singing harmonies. Like he trusted me to be like, or sing it like that and then do this, that, and that final product I think is fire, fire.
Yeah. Now we're also talking earlier about people hitting us up on DMs, and he was like
one of them.
Like he sent us a DM. He's like, "Yo, Rocky Road is really dope." We put a fire emoji, whatever.
Yeah.
And we're like, "Is that Saba for real?" And we replied back, and we were like, "Yo, we're coming to LA in like 2 months." He was like, "Say less, give us his number."
Collaborating with someone in person is so different because it makes it so much more organic. It's not just me coming up with an idea and sending it to you and you have to relate to me. It's like we're coming up with this idea together and what makes sense, and we can bounce off ideas.
Yeah, it's live feedback too.
Exactly. And so I love all forms of collaboration, but in person, and that's what we do between us when we create in person.
We used to like send each other stuff a lot. But nowadays, we collaborate in person. It's just much more better. Like
the workflow is more organic and it just flows better. It's a great workflow.
And you get shit done. Like sometimes when it's online.
Yeah, you procrastinate a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Like people don't send their verses or.
So Folded is such an interesting song because we all recognize that it's a good song and it's a fire song. But for some reason, I remember Doom, you saying you were nervous about putting that song out. You know what I'm saying? Why were you nervous about putting it out?
I don't know, because it just sounded too like a poppy ass song. You see, like it made me feel like when Pharrell, no disrespect, But when Pharrell made Happy, it made me feel like the same way. I was like, damn, it's just like so different. But at the same time, I loved the song. I was like, yo, it's a fire song.
Folded is one of the very much so. You said pop, very much so fun. Even in my verses, I'm talking about Zach and Cody. Even Folded, like I folded. That's like a Vine I saw or something. Like, I folded. And I just decided to put that in there because I was like, it feels right, it feels nice.
When we left the studio, it was like, yo, it's a good song, but shit, it don't sound like nothing like
nothing
that.
we ever done before.
Yeah, we never did this type of song before, so yeah, it was weird. It was weird, but it was. I'm not against that song at all. I love that song.
Right, and it's actually some people have come to me and said like, it's
that's my
their
favorite
song on there.
Yeah, man.
So I'm like, hey man, to each their own. And on some days it is my favorite song too. Man, sometimes like we be making beats together. And I have an idea like for like the verse or like the hook, and I just go like Tony mode, like I just do my thing. Like, what do y'all think about that? Like, giving me that space to just say whatever I want to say.
The way I like to work is like let the artist do what he has to do, and after like either take out some stuff or like no, you should do it this way, but just get out everything you have in your mind.
Yeah,
then
just give it your approach, and then
exactly.
If we fuck with it, we fuck with it. We'll take
it
if
it's trash, we're gonna tell you.
Yeah,
trash.
if it's not good, we'll tell you. Like you know how we do it. Like.
Yeah.
I think most of the times like we don't like have like issues like when we're creating or whatever. But the fact that sometimes there is like that little like I'm not so sure about that, and we're not scared to like vocalize that.
Yeah, I mean the least you can do is vocalize it, because if you don't, that's when like things can get left, because you have resentment and shit like that. But we literally never had that issue. So
yeah, even sometimes like, let's say we send a song, we have already an idea, but you see it like way differently. You take it somewhere else, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck my idea. Like this is way better. So yeah, it's just like you said, it's just a balance of it.
It just be working, man. I don't know. It'd be working.
Yep.
Hell yeah, we could do that there, baby. Hell yeah, we could do that there, baby. Hell yeah, we could do that there, baby. Do that there, do that there.
I think it's a beat we made that had a lot of energy. I think we wanted to finish with that, that high note. Finish off strong.
Yeah, we could have ended the album with Folded, but I think it felt more like, it'll give it like a more like a
little oomph at the end,
just like not like end the album on a downer, like on a, just pick the energy back up.
I really love the fact that the outro ends with the skit where it's the woman saying, "I'll be ready when you are," as opposed to the beginning where I'm singing "Ready when you are." It's a perfect like way to like.
Yeah, but it was the whole way we thought about the album too. So
it was a fun session for real, like just.
Lando's writing his verse. He's writing, and I'm just sitting there. I'm just chilling, and I'm watching Kobe Bryant highlights, and he's like, "Okay, like I think I got my verse." I'm like, "Yeah, you got your verse. All right, man, go lay it down." And he's laying it down, and then he walks out. I walk right in, and I'm a dog. Sorry, and syllable jumping out here, and he looked at me. He's like, "You're crazy." One of the little slick lines I say, wondering when a nigga finna sweep her out her sandals, ball a nigga hand up, hey, I got the answer, and AI, the answer, whatever. And he heard that and he was like, nah, you smoked me. I said, don't say that. And every time we perform that song, it's a great energy. I performed it with him at the Drake Underground, and very nice way to end it.
Yeah. What's next for Planet Giza?
What's next for us, man?
We got a Euro tour coming up.
Yep.
February 2024. And more music. For sure, more music, new sound.
We should try and produce more for people as well. Push the sound even further, because it's cool to keep it for ourselves, man. But I think people will sound great on Planet Giza beats as well. So.
And we got so much. So hey, rapper friends, singer
Why
friends,
we need beats, man.
Producer homies, friends, man. We got beats for y'all, man. Reach out.
A lot.
If y'all in album mode, reach out. If y'all need hooks, Reach out, we got y'all.
It's not even the beginning yet, man. It's just
Man,
a lot.
come on, we just getting our feet wet. Like, we
Yeah,
just
it's just-
getting cozy up in here, man.
It's a lot.
We here to stay for a long ass time. I need Giza for a long ass time, for 1,000 years, thousands and thousands of years. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna chase you, okay? That's not my place. So